Okay, this segment is about piquing interest, contacting and inviting, and the pass, the three-way phone call. Okay, so now that you've got that list done, let's talk about how to categorize your list or um, rate your list, if you will. So understand you want to identify your prospects as red, greens, or blues. Okay, reds are people that look up to you, and you want to use more so of an indirect approach when you're piquing their interest. I like to get your opinion. Greens are your peers. Okay, you can use either a direct or indirect approach with these type of people. Blues are people that look up to you, and generally it's easiest to use a direct approach. I need you to take a look at the information. Okay, so that's what you want to do. Rate and categorize and rank your list. Okay, select the type of approach. So you might want to write a D or I next to the left of their names. Okay, and what have you, so you know what approach you want to use with them, and that'll help you when you're talking to your expert and looking to give them information about the person as well. Make the call. When you make that call, you want to be excited. You want to have a smile on your face. You want to be in a rush. Okay, these are all things that help you with the call. You want to be excited, so you're upbeat and not like a lull, but you still want to be within yourself. Don't be phony. Okay, you want to smile because that puts a good accrement or good feeling into your voice when you talk. But you also want to make sure that you're rushing because that can stop some of the questions coming forward. You know, you use things like, hey, I'm glad I caught you. I was running out the door. You know what I mean? And that will stop the person, help you eliminate some of the questions that might ordinarily arise if that person feels as though you got all day to talk to them. Okay. Invite to a meeting, to a three-way, to a tool, or what have you. What that simply means is that you're piquing the interest with something else other than yourself. You're using third-party information. You're inviting them to get information from a meeting, from a three-way phone call, from a video, from your landing page, or some other third-party tool. Then number 5, answer questions by saying, "I don't have a lot of time." I'm glad I caught you, because again, people want to get all the information from you prior to taking a look at the information. And when they feel like you've given them enough information, they're making a determination of whether they're going to look at your information now based upon what you said. So don't say a whole lot about what you're doing. Okay, you just want to be excited. You want to share some information with them. Do you have time enough to take a look at this straight away? That's something I want to show you. You may or may not be interested, and it won't take very much of your time. Okay, can you take a look at the information when I send it to you? Great. If you do it about 3, I'll follow back up with you about 3:30. Boom. Get off the phone. So you get your commitment. Be specific. Where you'll meet, what time you're going to call back, what day you're going to call back, what have you. Always, when you're getting a commitment, be specific as to where, time, and day. Okay, make sure when it's a call, is make sure that you understand when you're going to be calling them back, what day and what time. Okay, AM, PM. Usually I like to give a choice. What time would be better for you? 10 a.m. or would 6 p.m. be better? Okay, then get off the phone, because remember, you were rushing. When you get off the phone, once you've got your commitment, anytime you spend after that, after you get your commitment, your person is going to be more inclined to ask you more and more questions about what it is, because you piqued their interest. They're interested, but their interest is only going to go as far as what they feel as though their feeling is about the information you give them. So if you don't give them any information other than your third party tool, then that's what they go to when they get the information, and that's what you want. Get off the phone, folks, straight away. Okay, and then text back to confirm before calling back. All the time you want to text back and confirm. Okay, hey, listen, I'm glad I'll be calling you back at such and such a time to, make sure that, see what you like best about that video. The information on my website, what have you. Okay, so now let's talk about the direct approach. All right. And as I said, you can't really mess this up. You're going to go through 3 main components. I got something I want to show you. You may or may not be interested, and only take a few minutes of your time. You know, I You may or may not be interested. I got something I want to show you. It may not take much of your time. Hey, listen, it's not going to take much of your time, but I got something I want to show you. You may or may not be interested. Okay. I got something I want to show you. That means that you're not going to tell them. Okay. You may or may not be interested. That takes the anxiety away. It takes them off the hook, so to speak. So they exhale. Okay. And it'll only take a few minutes of your time. So you're not going to be rambunctious and got something, a huge project for them to to start doing in the middle of their busy lives. Okay, so that's the basic premise. You can say it any way you want it. You can mix it up or what have you, but you can't mess it up. It's just those three parts. Hey John, I'm glad I caught you. I'm running out the door real quick. I have something I want to share with you. You may or may not be interested. It only take about 10 minutes of your time. If I text you the 10-minute video, do you think you can take a look at it by noon today? Great. I'll text you the link, and just click the video button on that link at the top, and I'll call you back at 12:30. Since you said you can look at it by noon, I'll call you back at 12:30. Talk to you then, good brother or good sister. Okay. Then about 12 o'clock, what you want to do is just follow back up again, right? And you just want to say something like, "Hey, John, I got caught up in a meeting, but I'll call you back at 12:30 as we discussed." And you're just saying that, but that gives them a reminder again. Hey, look, so it's just a short video they got to take a look at. All right, then they can look at it at 12 if they hadn't looked at it already. Right, and you're going to be calling them back at 12:30, so it gives them a little more time. All right. So next, the indirect approach. Now that direct approach, again, we're using it with people that look up to you or maybe even your peers. Okay, but the indirect approach sometimes is with your peers, but all the time you want to kind of use this one for people that you look up to. All right. So if you're younger, you're talking to an adult. Hey, John, I'm glad I caught you. Or hey, Mr. John, I'm glad I caught you. I'm running out the door real quick. I respect you a lot as a successful businessman. Another business owner, Mr. Murray, recently introduced me to a great business idea. You may or may not be interested, but I'd like to get your opinion about the information. And I promise it won't take much more than about 10 minutes of your time. I know that you are extremely busy, but do you think that you could take a look at the 10-minute video by noon today? Great. I'll text you the link. I'll call you back by 12:30 to get your thoughts. Thanks again, and I'll get back at you at 12:30. Thanks. Your time. And 12 o'clock, what you want to do is, hey, Mr. John, I got caught up in a meeting, but I'll call you back at 12:30. Right? So there you go. There you have it. You've got the direct approach and the indirect approach. So now let's just talk a little bit about the fortune being in the follow-up. And what do you say to the person when you're calling them back up after they've watched the video? Okay. So understand this. What you're going to ask, you're going to say something like this. What did you like best about what you heard or saw on the video? That's your question to them. And then if they say, oh, I like the money, you're going to mirror and match. Okay. And again, let me just step back 1 second. We're asking them what they like best because we want to start from somewhere positive. Okay. We want to start with something positive. They may not be interested, but at least we can start with something positive. It might be the first time that they actually think about something positive because they're thinking in their mind that they're not going to be sold on something else this time. This is another one of my friends calling me about one of those things. So you might be picking them to think about something good about the video for the first time that they thought about it. But most of the folks going to say, look, I like the money. You know what I mean? So you just mirror and match now. Okay, great. I like that also. Did you see an opportunity for yourself? If they say yes, move them back to the registration button on your landing page and walk them through the sign-up process. But if they have questions, your response is this. Great. That's a great question. I was advised not to explain it myself. That's Mr. Hall's job. He knows all of the facts. He loves to help people. He likes to have fun. And is having a lot of success in his business. He's extremely busy, but hold while I see if I can get 1 minute of his time. Okay. And you do that, and what you're doing now is you're overcoming objections before they arise, okay? Because what the person's going to say, oh, I don't want to talk to somebody, but what you're doing is you're edifying your expert so that the person that you're talking to, they have a level of trust for you, but you want them to respect your expert, Mr. Hall, okay? And then you're telling them, they're going to say, oh, I don't want to talk to anybody. That's going to be an objection. Or they're going to say, oh, man, I don't have very much time. Well, listen, you're already telling them that Mr. Hall was only you gonna only see he's very busy. You're gonna see if you can get 1 minute of his time. So again, this is a system, and you want to learn the language of the business. It doesn't have to be verbatim, but it has to be systemic, and you learn the language of the business. Okay, if they say no to your response before you make your final decision, should talk to before you make your final decision, you should talk to Mr. Hall. Hold while I see if I can get him on the line. Okay, so if they telling you anything negative, hey, listen, before you make your final decision, listen, you got to talk to Mr. Hall. Okay, and then if they give you another excuse, then you say, hey, look, that's the exact reason why you need to talk to Mr. Hall. Hold for a second while I see if I get him on the line. But understand, you're not, when you make the first response, when the first time when you're asking them, when they ask you the question, what you're saying, when you tell them, hold 1 minute while I see if I can get 1 minute of his time, that's a command. That's not a question. There's no question mark there. That's a statement or command type of a statement, right? So you're not waiting for a response. You just click now. And if they're asking another question or what have you, or another objection, they're talking to silence in the phone. And if they hang up, they just wasn't the person for you right now. Okay, but generally they'll hold because you're not hearing their excuse for why they don't want to talk to your person. Okay, so now that's how we respond. And then what you do is these responses are just in case you get caught up talking to the person after you've asked them to hold while you see if you can get 1 minute of their time. So before you make your final decision, you should talk to Mr. Hall. Hold while I see if I get him on the line. Oh man, you don't have any money. That's the exact reason you need to talk to Mr. Hall. Hold on for a second while I see if I can get 1 minute of his time. Okay, boom, that's a statement. So you're telling the whole. Posture is important here. You believe in what you're doing, and what you want to do is transfer that belief. And as long as you're starting to transfer that belief during the process, then people will generally roll and move with you. Okay, and then finally, if it's just a no or nothing else, if they're telling you no, I'm not interested right now, listen, I understand everything is not for everybody. Is it okay if I keep you informed? Okay, that's the question. Is it okay if I keep you informed? And this way, they're giving you permission, to call them back periodically, not every other day, maybe next month. Build a little rapport, tell them about how the success you're having, and then just say bye. Okay, then the next month, maybe just call them back up again. Hey, you said it was okay for me to keep you informed. Hey, this month we had a record month. Had so many folks just, XYZ get advanced, C got advanced, so and so did this. This is what happened great in the business. But by the way, how are the kids? Yeah, how did little John's football game go? And it's just about them at that point, and you're building a rapport because at some point in time, they may be ready to move. Folks, I'm telling you, some of the best affiliates that I've had in this business, it took them a while before they actually got moving. They had to realize that this was for them. So we don't convince, we don't talk people into the business. We walk them into the business. Okay, so that's exactly what we want to do here. Be respectful. Now let's talk about the edification, okay, that we just used in there to transition to our expert, to the person that's going to answer the questions. Okay, one, we use edification because it builds respect. We do this in every aspect of our business, whether we're at a briefing, whether we're conversing with somebody for a three-way phone call, whether we edify the video or landing page that we're sharing with them. Everything deserves edification. Okay, and basically that's just saying something good about the person or the tool that you're using, the meeting that you're looking to send a person to, or what have you. The topic matter is just saying something good about it. Basically what we do is we try to hit all of the personality types. You've got 4 personality types, and the first is the fall. Okay, so the fall personality type, that's a person that's interested in the facts. Okay, the spring personality type, that's the person that likes to help. Okay, in the spring, you're cleaning and you're helping things out, cleaning things up or what have you. Summer is all about fun. So that's your person that likes to party, like to have fun and what have you. Your winters, those are your folks that are money hungry. The money, they're money motivated. I should say money hungry, money motivated. Okay. Those are your, sharks, if you will. Okay. But so we hit these personality types, and people can be multiple personality types. You can have somebody that's facts oriented. Okay. But they are also a winner. So they could be a fall winner. You know what I mean? So they're facts oriented, but they also are interested and like to put their money to work for them. All right. But we close this out with always, he or she is extremely busy. Please hold while I see if I can get them on the line, or while I see if I can get 5 minutes of their time or 1 minute of their time. What I like about Mr. What I like about Bishop Dixon is he always takes time out to help me, even though he's extremely busy. Okay, so that's how we start to edify. Okay, and then and that's when you, boom, hold. You just say, let's hold for a second minute. This gentleman is extremely busy, but I'm gonna see if I can get 1 minute of his time. Hold for a second while I do that. Click. Boom, and that's how you do it. Some people get hung up waiting for answers. Hey, do you want to talk to my expert? No, you want them to talk to your expert, so you control that. Okay, now let's talk about the pass, folks. The pass in this, we peaking and we're passing, right? So let's talk about the pass. It's mastering the three-way phone call. And what you really need to understand here, folks, is that in this process, you call your expert first to make sure that they're available. Okay. Now, some experts, you might be talking to your person that sponsored you or your expert, and they may have a little different way, but be respectful to them and give them a heads up, because it might take your call, but they're not ready to get into an engaging conversation with a prospect, even though that conversation will probably last no more than 5 minutes anyway. Okay. But it may not be a good time. So give them a heads up. Generally, it's like this. Hey, Dr. Rozelle, this is Al Murray. Just calling to see if you're available for three-way phone calls. I'm going to be following up with some of my people today between the hours of 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. Can you be available for three ways at that time for me? Boom. And he'll say yes or no. So now what'll happen is, now when they see your name flash up on their phone, if they're talking anything but business on their phone, they get off of that non-business call and take your business call. Okay. So that's the importance of giving a heads up there. Don't ever interrupt your expert while he's talking on the phone. You're telling your expert, while you have your prospect on hold and you now have your expert on the line, you're telling them anything that they need to know at that point. You let them know what the objective is, okay, so that your expert can close the objective. This person watched the video and they have questions. Can you answer their questions and invite them out to the Monday night briefing? Can you answer their questions and invite them out to the Tuesday night webinar or the Thursday night webinar? Hey, listen, this person has watched a whole overview. They've been to a live briefing already, and they've got a couple of questions. When you answer those questions, can you attempt to close? Boom. So now your expert knows what you are looking for. And then always thank your expert after the appointment is set. If the expert gives you instructions, you take care of those instructions, and then you get off of the phone. The expert might give you an instruction like, hey, can you give this person the address to the meeting? Can you give this person the address to the webinar? Can you give this person the link to a certain meeting, online meeting, or what have you? You do that, and then you get off of the phone. Here is the process, folks, okay? Understand this. Your prospect, who will always be on a first name basis, okay? I don't care if this is somebody you wholeheartedly respect. This could be Dr. Sanchez. But Dr. Sanchez, we're trying to bring Dr. Sanchez into Care Bars right now. So Dr. Sanchez, you may address him out of respect as Dr. Sanchez, just in that doctor instance, okay? Because you may not know his first name, but we don't want to go on. Sometimes we'll go on about our prospect. Hey, well, this is Dr. Sanchez. He leads the radiology department at George Washington Hospital. He's the managing partner in XYZ company. Okay, and we edify the prospect more than we edify the expert. Okay, understand it should be the other way around, because Dr. Sanchez, we're trying to get him. We're working to move him into Care Bars right now. So this person here, your expert, this person has to be edified to the T. He is leading the international expansion of the company. This is who we edify. We edify the expert, right? So here's the thing. The prospect generally has trust for you. You shared some information with them. They've shared their contact information with you. It may be a family member, what have you, but they have trust for you. Now you edify the expert, okay, using those 4 personality types, and then mentioning the fact that he's generally busy. So hold while I see if I can get a minute of his time, right? So you do that edification, and what that does now is it creates respect. Your prospect now respects your expert. He trusts you, and he respects your expert. So now your expert can do what he does or she does, answer the questions, and move them to the next exposure. Now, one of the last and key things that we do as an expert is we want to edify our affiliate. So regardless of how long they've been in the business, we want to say something good about them. Hey, Dr. Sanchez, you may or may not know this about Mr. Johns, but Mr. Johns is doing a phenomenal job. Even only being in this business for a little while, he's grasped the system knowledge. He's grasping the fundamentals of this business, and you should feel in an honor to be working with this person. But understand this: while you're working with Mr. Johns, you're also working with me as well. So if he's not available, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll give you the same level of respect that I'm giving Mr. Johns. So with that, sir, I appreciate the opportunity for you talking to me. God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you on the meeting that you were invited to, at the briefing that you were invited to. Okay, so that's how we pass it. So you want to make sure that you do that. Now let's just talk about some things just in case you get stuck. All right, so we're going to talk about a few things just in case you get stuck. We're going to use, this is one of the best ways that I found to overcome any kind of objection. Feel, felt, found. I understand how you feel. I felt the same way. But what I found was speaking to Mr. Young cleared things up for me. Okay, so that's how we, if you get stuck and moving a person to the 3-way phone call. That's how you want to do it. Use the feel, felt, found. A lot of times we tend to get upset at folks for not wanting to do what we want them to do, and we show aggression, and then your prospect shows aggression back with you. But when you show understanding, okay, I understand how you feel. I felt the same way when I first took a look at some information and was looking to talk to someone else to clear things up for me. What I found was when I talked to that person, they were able to ease me, put me at ease so that I can really digest the information. And I found that this information was enough to literally change my life to the point where I'm wanting to share it with you. So listen, hold on for a second while I get Mr. Young on the line. Boom. That's how we handle a situation like that. Okay, as they come up with an objection, regardless of what it is, guess what? That's the exact reason why you need to talk to Mr. Murray. Hold on for a second while I get him on the line. Okay, and then always, I was advised not to answer any questions. That's Mr. Coach's job. Hold while I get him on the line. Okay, so these are a couple ways you deal with the objection a little bit, and then you go right back to your point, which is to move that person to the 3-way phone call, right? Next, let's just talk a little bit. Well, we're not going to go into this, okay? We're not going to talk about the art of prospecting, but this is what the next phase that I wanted to talk about, and we wanted to share with you. So definitely, folks, you got your list together. You see how you want to handle the Pique and Pass phase of this. So with this, we'll go ahead and conclude this segment in the training, and the next segment will be coming up. Thank you so much. God bless, and have a good night.